Here we go. Okay, we're gonna give it a few moments here as everyone slowly rolls on in to the mastermind here because we are just getting started now. As everyone's rolling on in, we'll wait here. All right, making sure everyone's rolling in. Perfect. Perfect. Good to see everybody. Now, again, friendly reminder, we are in Zoom for this chat for our mastermind. Yes, that's correct. Zoom. So we're going to be in Zoom for this chat to make sure everyone gets it. Again, I want to do another mic check. Make sure everyone can hear me. Yes, drop a yes in the Zoom chat below if you can. Make sure we're loud and clear and ready to go. Perfect. All right, awesome. Now, again, a friendly reminder, make sure on the chat, it says all panelists. Make sure you select, and it says all panelists and attendees, so your brothers and sisters can see you chat as well. Otherwise, you're only going to be chatting to us and not everyone else, okay? Sound good? Perfect. Okay, so we got the recording ready. Everyone's set. Love it. So again, we are joined with our mastermind host, Milana Baylor. I don't want to waste any time with this because she is a phenomenal host, a phenomenal closer, and she's with an all-star today who I'll let her introduce you to here in a second. So I want you guys to give all your energy you can to one of our Sapphire presenters, Milana Baylor. Milana, the stage is yours.
I really don't know why he calls me Sapphire. Just kidding. Greetings, HTC. It's your girl, Milana Baylor Amadi, back with another mastermind for you guys. Now, we are halfway through. A little over halfway if you don't get the bonus, but I'm pushing for you guys to get the bonus. We are halfway through with the course, and I know that those who are learning for the first time and those who are relearning are getting lots of value. Role play is open season now, and you guys are just really diving in and learning things and being able to practice a skill. You understand gym types now, and everything's really so very exciting. You're excited, and I'm excited for you. And so, guys, we're going to have some great reminders and great information today to help you do your best inside of Discord. Everyone, anyone, please tell me you've been practicing. Let me know. Who's been in Discord at least in the last 24 hours role playing? Let me see you tell me in the chat. We got some people getting their practice on. I'm proud of you guys. Who's been in Discord at least twice in the last 3 days? Let's see who the real players are. Okay, all right. Some people are stepping in. Okay. I see some of these veterans. Okay, Roz, you have been. We know that. You're a superstar. Who else is a superstar and has been in Discord at least 5 times in the last 7 days? Go get it, y'all. Okay. All right. I see you, Jason. Okay, Melissa, good job. All right, Simon. I'm proud of you guys. So what does Sifu say? Oh, what is that thing? Help me out, guys. A role play a day does what? What does a role play a day do? Oh, it keeps, that's right, Dan, it keeps poverty away. I don't know about you guys, but I've experienced poverty in my life, and I never want to experience it. So role play is. Guys, before we dive in, I just want to make sure that you remember that we are note takers by hand. Grab your pencil, pen, paper, turn off your electronics, unless you have me on your electronics and we're doing the mastermind on your phone. But if you're on your laptop or tablet or computer, please make sure that your phone is not a distraction. Or if you're on your phone, make sure your other devices are not a distraction. Make sure you're paying attention and that you continue to participate in the chat. We are doing chat here in Zoom, and later on in the mastermind, we're also going to do the Q&A in Zoom. So let's just remember to stay focused, because we've got some great information. Great coach today. So you guys, before I introduce the coach, I just want to talk a little bit about our topic. And actually, you know what? Let me just focus a little bit on what we've been learning and going through ever since CIB 2019. Anyone who was at CIB 2019, can you remember? And I've done this before, so let's see who really remembers. Who remembers the theme for CIB 219? Let's see who. That was, so I see Matrix coming through. That was Sifu's theme, but there was a message that he delivered to us that was mentioned over and over, something that he wants ingrained in our mindset on how to be not only the best closers, but the best versions of ourselves. Guys, he wants us to believe in ourselves. It's such a deep mindset thing, and it's repeated over and over in so many different ways. It's in the class, it's in the conversations on Discord, it's in every single mastermind. I mean, think back to last week's mastermind. Who was here for last week's mastermind with Patrick and oh gee, I just forgot her name. With Patrick and not Saforn.
Tatiana.
Tatiana, thank you. Thank you, Vikas. So last week, there was such, oh my gosh, the gem bombs that Tatiana dropped, all of the confirmation and the encouragement of your confidence and how to build rapport. Oh my goodness. Who else truly enjoyed last week? Because I don't know, you can't really tell from my voice that I really loved last week's mastermind. But there's this recurring theme of belief. And of course, you know, we'll be talking about it again. Why? Not because we have nothing else to talk about, but because we know that this is really important. We're going to hammer it into everyone's mindset because we need it over and over. So I want tell me, what do you think is in the mind of the person in the picture on the right or on the left, depending on how you're looking at it, that gets them to the second picture? Like, give me some descriptors of what it takes, what kind of mindset it takes to go from climbing to being at the top. Yeah, I see focus, belief, persistence, determination, stamina. Oh, that's a good one. Yes. I see something that speaks so well. Letting go of your comfort. That's a really good one, because today we will actually be talking about that. But before we do that, I want to see if you guys remember from way, way back, depending on how old you are. We won't talk about how old I am. To your childhood. And a really quick story about a really good lesson. You guys remember the tortoise and the hare? You guys you think about the animals, how slow a tortoise moves and how fast the bunny hops. So there was a race between these two. As a matter of fact, if you were to read the original, or if you were to read or see any of the cartoon versions, then it really shows in the beginning how the bunny was like, "Hey, tortoise, how do you get anything done? everything you do is so slow. Like, what do you do in life? Why are you so lazy? Like, just really antagonistic. And the bunny was just like, I challenge you to a race. Like, he just knew he was going to win, just really arrogant, just all about himself, lone wolf. And so the bunny, or the tortoise rather, was like, hey, let's dream big, set a goal, and take action. He didn't in his mindset say, rabbit's too fast, I'll never beat him. This was his mindset. I'm going to show everyone how you turn a can't do into a can do it. And the funny thing is that the entire time that the race is going on, rabbit is like, I'm so fast and I don't even see the tortoise behind me. I'm going to take a break and grab something to eat. I'm going to go over to the sideline and take a nap because he'll never catch up to me. And, tortoise is like, just keep going. Just keep going. One foot in front of the other. And not only did he turn his can't do it into a can do it, he turned his don't quit into a do it. Like, it was just everything in his mindset was, I'm going to do the best I can, and I'm just going to keep going to keep going. And before you knew it, guess who was actually the victor? While Mr. Arrogant Hare was taking a nap because he was so far ahead. What was it that made the tortoise win? What was it that kept him going? He started off with an intention. He never looked at the problem and said, oh, there's no way I'll ever be able to do this. He said, okay, I'll challenge you to a race. Sounds fun. Something to do. He dreamed big, set a plan and take action. He never thought there's no way I can win this. That was his intention, was to just go in and get it done. Just keep going. And so today, guys, we're going to turn you into mighty tortoises. We're going to help you break out of your comfort zone and learn how to out of your comfort zone and overcoming your insecurities is something that can be very difficult. But what if you could, I don't know, learn a couple of mindset tweaks that could help you get to always overcoming any obstacle, to never having any fear overtake you? What if you could get comfortable being uncomfortable? Well, we have a wonderful guest today. This guest is a season 2 graduate. This season 2 graduate was a former electrical technician, and now he's one of Sifu's closers. He's all about personal development and growth. He has won awards at both 2008 and 2009. And 8 business owners, including, wait for it, back of the room closing at events in the UK. He's been closing on one of the largest BAs that Sifu has. He's now been offered a position as one of the lead closers for this very large BA. And he's still one of Sifu's closers. This guy is phenomenal. And even on the personal side, he's a very active dad of 2 wonderful boys. You guys don't know that this guy, well, I learned it was pretty cool. He also was a prize fighter. Our, our saying here, with this intent, if you look at this picture and look at the words of this picture, this is actually one of our guest idols. And so, everyone, please help me welcome our heavy hitter from the UK, Mr. Danny Williamson.
Hey, CC brothers and sisters, season 14 and veterans. How are we all doing, guys? Yeah, nice to see you guys in the chat. Some familiar names. Are you guys ready to rumble?
Always.
Let's get ready to rumble.
I'm such a wrestling fan, so when you say that, I get goosebumps.
Yeah, I haven't quite got the tonality for that, so that's something I've got to practice.
Well, I am very happy to have you here, Danny. I know that you have such an inspiring story, and you have such a relatable story. I'm really, really excited to have you here to share your story and for more people to learn more about it and be inspired by it. So let's get right into it, Dan. Can you share with us your journey from what you were doing before HTC and how you were feeling about your life? And then share with us that transition. How did you find out about HTC and what was your mindset going into it?
Yeah, excellent. So I'd love to share that with you guys. Now I'm going to try and keep it as kind of quick as I can because it's quite a long story. But yeah, let's jump straight into it. So back in January 2018, I joined season 2. Right, but before that, there were a lot of things going on in my life that led to me making the decision to join this family. So as Milana said, I'd been working in the electrical industry as a technician on high voltage cables and substations. And yeah, you're probably thinking that sounds quite dangerous. And well, you'd be right. It's a very specialist industry, and a lot of people get killed in this industry every single year. So, I mean, for me, I can definitely think back to a few near misses for myself. And, when I think of those moments, it does make me cringe. And I think I'm actually very lucky to be here. So, many of you might be able to relate. When I actually left school, I was kind of told to forget about my goals and dreams and that I should focus on getting a career or a trade behind me, right? My dad was quite a big influence in my life, and it was forget about your dreams, about being a pro boxer or doing something crazy like that. Like you should go become a carpenter or a plumber or an electrician or an engineer. Okay, so just so happens we had a family friend that worked in this industry, in the electrical industry. He was looking for an apprentice. So my dad said, look, this is a great career path for you. Why don't you go ahead, and see what it's about. You've never got to worry about the lights going, you being out of work, right? There's always a light going off somewhere, right? So you could say he closed me on taking this job. Can anyone relate to their parents trying to influence them on what they should do when even they know deep down that it wasn't something that they wanted to do?
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. So, I mean, growing up for me, like a lot of kids, I had a lot of dreams. I was a very ambitious kid. One of my biggest dreams was to be a pro boxer. Okay. And boxing was my life. Like I ate, dreamt, slept. I just, one of my idols was Muhammad Ali. So like I would eat, sleep and breathe boxing. It was my whole life. And when I got into my early 20s, I had a goal to be a pro. But like I said, people will always tell me, Dan, you're never going to make it as a boxer. You should just continue with your career. And so I let these people talk me out of going for my dream. And so going through my 20s, I got sucked into the whole rat race. I was working crazy hours. I was working away from home, staying away from my family. And I just thought, man, there's got to be more to life than this, you know? Like I I always saw myself accomplishing something special, but I'd always been told to play it safe. Okay. So I decided, like, I'm going to make a change. Okay. Actually, I remember when that sort of moment hit me, I had a bit of an accident at work, and it wasn't an accident where anyone got injured or hurt or anything, but it was one of those near misses where when I look back, I think that was a close one. Like, I could have hurt myself seriously and could have hurt someone else seriously. And I just remember going home that night feeling so scared for my job, for my future. And I thought something's got to change. So anyway, like a few weeks went by, and this same event was still like replaying in my mind. And I thought, like, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, I started to feel very anxious, very panicky all the time. And I knew this just wasn't me. So I started researching personal development videos on YouTube as a way to try and gain some of my confidence back. And I came across this one influencer, and he actually really helped me. Okay, and this same influencer actually was teaching people how to start their own online businesses as well, just so happens. And no, it's not Sifu, by the way. So I actually started thinking, well, wouldn't it be great if I could have my own business that I could run from home? That way I could leave this job, you know, this dangerous job. I mean, for God's sake, I've got 2 kids. I want to make sure that I'm around for them, you know, in the future. So if I could do something like this, that would, you know, set me free from this job, and I could actually do something for myself and my family. So I remember looking into different online business models such as Amazon and you know, you probably heard them all, right? Drop shipping. And the problem was with those business models, as a lot of you probably know, you need inventory, you need a lot of startup capital for marketing and all these kind of things. So the trouble was I didn't have a lot of capital. I didn't have a lot of, you know, money to invest in this, and I certainly didn't have money for the mentorship as well. So I you know, continued to learn just from YouTube and saving up money. And I remember the next sort of morning waking up to an email from this same influencer saying he's going to be hosting a webinar with this guy called Dan Locke, who was his mentor. And he's going to be sharing how you can make anywhere from, I think it was like 5 to 25K a month, just using your phone. So no inventory, nothing else, just your phone. And I'm thinking, what the hell could this be? So I immediately registered for the webinar, and yeah, and I remember when I finally sort of listened to Sifu talk, he just struck a chord with me straight away. Like when he explained the whole wealth triangle concept, there was just something in me that was like, I need to learn from this man. Can any of you relate to that?
That got me too. The wealth triangle was like, whoa. It was enlightenment.
Yeah. And so, you know, that was the moment where I was like, I'm going to learn from this man. And what's quite funny was at this point, I still didn't quite understand what this high ticket closing thing was. All I knew, it was, you know, using your phone and talking to people. But what's really profound, and me and Milana was talking about this the other day, was in that same moment when I was about to pull the trigger, I had a quick reality check and just said to myself, there's no way that I am doing anything else. Like this, if I do this, this is going to be the last thing I ever do before I make it. Okay, there's not going to be any trying. There's not going to be any dabbling. it's just going to be doing. Whatever this guy says, I'm going to do. So that is setting intention, right? Have any of you read the book, or at least heard the saying, I think it's from The Art of War: every battle in life is won or lost before the battle is ever fought.
Yeah, that is one of Sifu's favorite quotes.
Yeah. Well, I haven't read the book, but that quote, I don't need to have read the book to understand that quote, and that definitely resonates with me. And you know, going over many seasons of HTC, obviously we've seen lots of people come and go, and I always wondered why, why I was still here. Obviously I knew, but I always wondered what was different between me and other people. And I realized that I had set my intention before I pulled the trigger. I said,
Nice.
I'm going to do whatever it takes. And this is the last thing I do. Like Thanos said, right, from Avengers, I am inevitable. Right? There's no other way that this is not going to work, right? This is the only way.
Wow.
And there's going to be pain, there's going to be discomfort, there's going to be failure, there's going to be rejection. And I had to say to myself, am I okay with that?
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about some of the areas where you felt the growing pains and the discomfort and the struggle. While going through the course, of course, everyone goes through some type of transformation, and everyone has a lot of self-realization. What was it for you that, really just kind of smacked you in the face really hard that you had to overcome? What struggles did you face?
You mean going through HTC, or before I took that leap of faith?
Actually, just, once you went through the course, while you were going through and learning things about being a high ticket closer, what kind of realizations and what kind of struggles did you come up against? What kind of comfort zone did you have to come out of?
A hell of a lot, I can tell you that. Now, for me, I've always considered myself kind of introverted. Okay, I don't like, I don't like kind of mixing with large crowds. Public speaking was always something that frightened me to death. So, the thought of speaking to somebody over the phone, putting yourself in a bit of a vulnerable situation, was quite scary for me. And, that was something that I knew I had to overcome, no matter how uncomfortable that was. I remember my very first role play, and my heart was pounding. But I said to myself, I revisited that intention that I set, like, I'm doing this no matter what. And let me tell you, when you've been in the boxing ring, when you face another human face to face with nothing but your fists, and you can do that in front of, hundreds of people and come out, like, there's pretty much nothing that scares you, right? And so, yes, I still felt nerves going into this role play. So what did I have to do to overcome that? I revisited all the uncomfortable things that I did in the past, like jumping in the ring, bungee jumping, all these uncomfortable things that I'd done, like racing motorcycles. I'd done a lot of stuff, and I had to revisit those things to give me confidence in taking action, and that really helped me. Anytime I felt any kind of nervousness, discomfort, uncertainty, I just relived those moments, right? There's nothing that's going to hurt me.
Wow. It's funny that you say there's nothing that's going to hurt me, because while you're naming all of these memories that you have of times you overcame, I'm like, all of these are physically dangerous. It could cause some physical pain. But here you are in a situation where there's no threat of physical pain, but
Yeah, exactly.
you're faced with being emotionally and mentally, socially uncomfortable. And it seems like that's even more overtaking, more overpowering
Mm,
and disabling than physical discomfort.
mm,
That
yeah.
that that was just an aha moment for me. Wow. So tell us, what did you do to continue to overcome this?
Yeah, and like with anything, getting good at something, becoming more confident, and building your self-esteem, it takes repetition. It takes competence. So just so the way I practiced for closing was the same that I trained when I was a boxer. I knew that in order to be the best closer I could be, I had to train like no one else was training. So
Mm.
I had to role play, you know, at times when I didn't want to role play. Like on the way, I remember role playing on the way to and from work. In the car on Discord, my signal dropping in and out.
Wow.
I remember when, and this is another thing that I haven't shared with you guys. Like this is some of the things I had to overcome in my first week of joining HTC. That's a pretty big decision, right? It's a lot of money as well for a lot of people, and it was for me. I had just got the keys to renovate a new family home, and that money was supposed to actually go towards that.
Oh,
This is something that I haven't shared with you guys, but I think it's something to bring up because that's how badly I wanted it. I was prepared to forget about the family home and invest in my skills because I knew that with this high income skill going forward, I'd be able to produce, generate more money for me and my family, which would only make us prosper.
wow. Wow. So as you were overcoming time and time again, when do you think there was a spot where you come up against something where you've overcome it before, but this time when you face it, you've had trouble overcoming it again? Does that make sense to you? Are you understanding?
Can you repeat the question?
So was there a time where you came up against something that you'd overcome previously, but this
Hmm.
time when it came up, you had trouble overcoming again?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of you can probably relate to, you know, maybe having a really good role play or even a real life closing call. When you come off the phone, you're feeling really good. You think, oh, that was great, right? Next time it's going to be so much easier, right? I'm feeling much more confident now. And then you get on the phone with somebody, maybe they're like a hard ass Ruby, I don't know, and you just lose, like everything goes out the window, right? I'm sure you've been there, right? Yeah,
It happens a
we've
lot.
we've all been there. So in those moments, that can knock your confidence. And what happens to a lot of people is, they start to experience lower self. They, maybe they'll go absent from role playing for a while. Um, and all of a sudden they're falling off the bandwagon, and then it's much more hard. It's so much harder to get back into it. It's like having a month absence from the gym, trying to get back into that after that long away from it. It takes so much effort, doesn't it? So much mental energy. So going back to the question, how did I overcome it, like time and time again, was just stay consistent. Don't
Mm.
give myself time away. Like we're all going to go through like days where we're not feeling right, or something bad happens in the family, and we get thrown off track. And that's okay. That's just life. But don't let that be an excuse not to hop back in the ring.
That's great advice.
You know,
Could you say
like
that
don't
again?
when life throws you a curveball, which it will, don't let that be an excuse not to hop back in the ring and try again.
I love that. I love that. So we're talking today about getting out of our comfort zone. And you've done a really great job talking about that. And we're talking about overcoming insecurities and different ways that you've had to do that. I want to talk about the results of you doing that.
Mm.
You have been quite successful in experience in real life closing. And so I'm quite sure. Well, let me just ask. Let's ask our friends here, family. Who wants to know what Danny did? What Danny's mindset was to get onto one of Sifu's largest BAs? What did he do? What was he thinking? And how does he maintain doing internal sales? Anyone else curious about this? No one really wants to know. Aha, okay, now I see the answers. Yeah, we definitely want to know. Tell us, Danny. Tell us, give us tips. If you could give us just like 2 pieces of advice. Give us advice on what do we need to set us up for success to get onto a BA account or internal sales? And what is the key to keep us there?
Excellent question. So again, I had to set the intention before even applying, right? Is that I'm okay with getting rejected, but I'm going to make sure that I give this my absolute best no matter what. I'm not going to leave anything on the table here. So, you know, for me going into internal sales, I knew that the competition, I don't like to call it competition because we're all family here, but I knew that there was going to be a lot of other people that were maybe just as good, if not better than me. So what did I have to do to set myself apart from them? And I remember around this time I was doing a role play marathon. Like I know, you know, we should all be role playing every single day anyway, right? But you know, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. There are days, you know, where you maybe have a couple of days off, and you know, maybe you're on vacation or something like this. I went on a role play marathon for 37 days straight. Okay, so every single day went on a role play marathon, and this really helped me sharpen my sword, like to the absolute max.
I'm sorry, Danny. You said 37. Did you guys
30,
catch that? That is
37 days.
more than a month straight.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Unfortunately, I didn't hit my target, which was 90 days, but I mean, I'm still proud of that. And yeah, that's something that I am going to beat.
Wow.
So so yeah, I mean, going into an internal sales position with that much confidence about my skills, you know, after 37 days straight of role playing, you know, that really helped. And I think just going in with the right attitude, the right intention. You guys know about the 6 core values, right? The 6
I'm
core
quite
values of Team
sure.
Danlock. Yeah.
Tell us again.
I'll tell you again. Yeah. So loyalty. Okay. Are you loyal to the HTC family, the brand, Team Danlock? Right. One thing that is I've always been in all of my, when I look back through my career, just in jobs, even the ones that I didn't like, I was always, you know, very loyal, always showing up. So that was always present for me. Harmony. Can you work in harmony with, you know, brothers and sisters, with other people, with the team? Client success. Can you put your influencers or your prospects' needs before your own? Giving the best service that you can possibly do. High performance. Are you time blocking? Are you productive? Are you studying? Are you being, a high performer? Extreme ownership. Can you take responsibility for your mistakes, for your failures? We all have them, but a lot of people, let's face it, they like to point the finger. And then constant improvement, right? Which is one of the most important. Are you constantly improving your skills? And for me, one of my strongest needs that I'm always looking to fulfill, if you know about the six human needs, one of mine is growth. And I think that's why I've always liked to challenge myself with these crazy things like, boxing, bungee jumping, and because I'm always seeking like that next level of myself, always challenging. So constant improvement. So I definitely, when I look back, I resonated with all of these six, core values. So make sure that you have those present. And if not, maybe do some deep diving into your own mindset and find out, what's missing.
So we've got these core values that everyone needs to make sure that they can fit into their lives. And we have our understanding of making sure that we do what we need to do to break out of our comfort zone and overcome our insecurities. The best way to do so is to set that intention. Know our why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the why. Why are we in here? What is our intention? And make sure that it's deep enough. So how do we apply this to a closing call? When you're in a closing call, and Sifu says that our job is to help our prospect overcome their lower self, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about, let's talk about helping them do that. How to do that in the call. As a matter of fact, at what point of the closing call, at what point do you think is the best indicator of, or will you really discover the prospect's lower self?
Yeah, so I think, obviously it's case to case. Prospects will vary so much, and sometimes, they'll give you smoke and mirrors, and you think one thing that you think is the pain might not be the pain. In my experience, it usually comes towards the end of the call. I mean, you might get some, you might get some little nuances, or they might feed you a little bit here and there, of lower self, and and usually at that point when you hear something little, when you think, oh, that's a little bit lower self, that there's an objection coming. Mm-hmm. Right? So yeah, sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Harindapal, is it? Actively listening, right? So always being present and listening out for those little, changes of inflection, tonality, and you listening to their words, right, that the prospect's using. So always being present. But usually in my experience, Milana, it's been towards the end of the call. And, when you're trying to get some form of commitment, usually an excuse will follow, whether it's time or money or, urgency, whatever it might be.
So anytime they essentially kind of shut their own self down, right? Like during class, when Sifu does the role play, and someone comes with the lower self, and Desmond's really good with this too. Call them out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Remind me again while we're on this phone. Like, one of the first things we do is to ask them what motivated them to make the phone call.
Yes.
And so In the call, is there any other point before towards the end? Is there any other where you might come against their lower self? Any indication that might help you ward off those objections? Because Sifu says, qualify hard and close easy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I can think of another area.
Yeah. So you mean during a call, like is there a time at where you would notice the prospect's lower self? Is that what you mean?
Exactly. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's case to case, but sometimes you'll get it at the start of a call, right, where maybe their needs are low, and what do we do when we sense that the needs are low?
Ooh, pop quiz, guys.
Reverse psychology. That's right, William. Yep. Yep. So usually when their needs are low, you're going to get, I mean, this isn't always the case, but sometimes you're going to get some lower self because they don't see the value, right? Or they don't have the urgency there. So they're going to, maybe ask some kind of lower self questions, right? Like, oh, tell me why this is so great. Or, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the money for this anyway, but just, tell me all about this program. Just a really kind of, shitty kind of question.
Mm-hmm. And how do you handle that?
Reverse psychology, one thing that I would try to do sometimes is pull away, like William said. So I don't really understand why you need this program, John. Like, it sounds like things are going pretty well for you. Or sometimes you've actually got to call them out on their tonality and the way they're speaking. Sometimes you can just, when they don't sound interested, when they don't sound like there's much pain there, you can just, don't be afraid, right? Call it out. I'm sorry, John. Like, I understand that you're inquiring about HTC, but from what I'm hearing, you don't really sound all that excited about it. I mean, should we just get off the call?
Wow. So I am curious to know, does anyone want to hear Danny role play? Anyone want to have no interest? No. You guys don't really want please. Okay. So Danny, if you wouldn't mind, if we could just do some quick role play to give the people a little bit of your skill. You mind doing that and I'll be your prospect?
I suppose I could try.
Oh, you sound so excited about this.
There we go. You got it.
So let's just give people a quick look at how Danny operates when dealing with someone's lower self, shall we? And we'll do HTC because that's what we love, right? That's who we are. That's what we do. So shall I call you or will you call me?
I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, is that Milana?
Yes, this is Milana. Who's calling?
Hey, Milana, it's Danny, Director of Enrollment from HTC. Just giving you a call for the scheduled time.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready. I remember this.
Good. So, Milana, whereabouts you from?
I'm in the U.S., Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Cool. You don't sound like you have much of a Texas accent. Can you maybe do one for me?
Well, I guess I could give you a Texas accent. It's might
there
be.
it is.
I'm originally from Ohio, and there's no accent like that there.
Love it. Well, if you haven't already picked up, I'm actually from the UK. Maybe
Okay.
you can hear from my charming accent. But anyway, that's before we dive into this, Milan, I just have to let you know that this call is being recorded for training and quality control. You okay with that?
Absolutely.
Excellent. And just to give you some context, I usually like to just start off by, asking you a few basic questions, getting to know a little bit about yourself, which will help me understand, where you're currently at. And then
Mhm.
as we go through the call, we can dive a bit deeper into what you'd like to accomplish. And, at the end, what we're really looking for is to see if this is a good fit for you or not. Sound good?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Milana, you just broke up.
Danny? Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, okay, that's fine with me.
Excellent. So tell me, Milana, what was it that attracted you to HTC?
Well, the working from home is really, really interesting. And the money, of course, would attract anyone, I would think. Um,
Hmm.
but being able to set my own schedule, that's pretty important too.
Okay. And what is it that you do for a living right now?
Actually, I'm unemployed right now. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and I mean, well, I had a job for 12 years, and the company switched hands, and that, I was still with the company for quite some time. And then, well, the CEO decided to close the office.
I'm sorry to hear that, Milana. And how long were you with the company for? 4 years, did you say?
No, 12.
Oh, 12 years. Wow,
Yeah,
that's quite some time.
yeah.
So, and the CEO you said just decided to close down?
Yeah, that guy. To be honest, I'm really quite happy I don't have to deal with him anymore. But you know, yeah, he decided something different.
Right. So it sounds like it wasn't something that you really enjoyed anyway. I mean, you said you were quite happy that you don't have to deal with him.
Yeah, his integrity was just not intact. Um,
Mm.
and so like I said, not having to have a set schedule and go to an office home. I just dealt with so much office politics. I'd rather not.
Mm. Okay. So am I right to assume that you're actually quite happy now that you're not in that position?
I really loved what I did, and I loved the job, as far as who I worked with.
Mm.
But I am happy not to be there anymore. Dealing with that type of management it was feeling kind of toxic.
Got it. And I've heard you mention a couple of times that, setting your own schedule is something that's important to you. And why is that so?
Yeah, I like the freedom of not being at someone's beck and call. Like,
Mm. But you have that now
yeah.
though, right?
Well, yeah, but that also means that as an unemployed person, I'm also not making income. So it
Mm.
would be nice to have the situation with the income.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
all.
So just curious, Milana, like how are you able to take care of yourself now if you're, not making any income?
Well, currently I do have a savings and a husband, and I do receive unemployment checks. It's a very small portion of what I was making, but definitely not the income that I want to make.
Okay. And what is the income that you'd like to make?
I'd say 6, 7 thousand USD monthly would be pretty nice.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
10, of course, would be great, but
What were you making when you were working?
it depends on if I did overtime, 5, 6.
Hmm. Okay. So, we're not exactly shooting for the moon here, but I like the fact that you're keeping things fairly conservative, 6 to 7K a month. And how would your life change if you were able to, to earn that kind of money just from home?
just having that freedom and having the peace of mind, like that's really what's super important to me.
Peace of
Having
mind?
that peace of mind,
What do you mean by
to
that?
not be angry about emails coming from inconsiderate, employers, or not having to put out a fire for someone else because they don't feel like doing their job, but
Mm,
they're your superior, so you have no choice. Just dealing with other people who
mm.
have no respect. So not having to do any of that, oh yeah, peace of mind.
Okay. So, I mean, this sounds like something that that you do really want. And I mean, working in a job for 12 years is quite a lot of time. I mean, is this something that you would say that you'd be able to, that you'd be happy to do from home for, I don't know, the foreseeable future if you were able to learn this skill?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, uh, 12 years doing something that, I was okay with for someone who I hated doing it for. I think I can do this for the rest of my working years for myself. I
Mm,
love working for myself. I love me. I'd be a great boss to myself.
okay. And what about your husband? I mean, does he know about your plans?
Yeah, he's supportive of anything that I want to do.
Okay, that's great. I mean, it always helps when you've got a spouse or somebody that's willing to be supportive. Okay, and when suppose that we were to accept your application, when would you say that you'd like to get started learning a skill like this?
Well, I always think no time like the present, right? No time like the present, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So, what would you say needs to happen in order for you to feel comfortable to move forward today?
Um, well, I need to know that I can actually do it.
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
Well, I've I've never done anything like this before.
Hmm. Okay. And I mean, isn't that I mean, if you're just gonna do everything that you've already, that you've always done, you're just gonna get the same results, right? So, are you committed to doing something a little bit different in order to get a different result?
Wow, that's a really good point. I mean, everyone says that that's the definition of insanity, and can't have peace of mind if you're insane, I guess.
Hmm.
Hmm. In role play, I want to stop right there because I want you guys to just pay attention to how everything changed when it got real. Anyone else notice that? William, did you notice? Or no, I'm sorry, no, I'm thinking of your last name. Danny, did you notice that? We,
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed you obviously changed your tonality and you were feeling somewhat insecure that you might not be able to do this, right? The the insecurity started to come out.
and your tonality changed with it. Did you guys pick up on that? That rapport that was built just by matching tonality. What else did you guys get out of that role play? Just that very brief snippet. Yeah, right. Pain point. Did a real good job with your tonality and pacing, Danny. Sonia says, talk to them the way they want to be talked to. Absolutely. 10-minute boom. Yeah, you absolutely have. We continued, you absolutely would have closed. Now, guys, I want to make sure that there was value in today's mastermind for you. What we've talked about so far. Has anyone gotten any gem out of what we've done today, what we've talked about, Danny's story. Who is ready to role play? That's what I want to know.
William, Edward, Demir, Bogdan. Yep, seen it. Razmig, Hal, Grace, Jenny, Shao. Awesome, guys.
Wonderful. So if I jump in Discord at a random time this week, Discord rooms will be full, right?
Remember, guys, what was your intention when you signed up for HTC? Was it the same as mine? Was it the I'm willing to do whatever it takes? Are we just dabbling here? Is this just a means to an end?
Wow. So guys, I
Thanks for
want to express my gratitude for you guys showing up for today's mastermind, not only to you, but also to you, Danny. So much value given to us today. We love learning about story, but also lessons. 50 lessons from Danny's story, right? I appreciate you. And I want to thank everyone for showing up. We do not have time for Q&A today, but if you would make sure that you do your posts on Facebook into the Facebook group. Make sure you let us know what you learned. And if you have any questions, make sure you tag Danny and I, and we will be able to answer your questions there. And guys, look for us in Discord.
Yeah, welcome. You're welcome to hit me up on Discord. PM me if you have any questions, or even if you want to role play. I'm happy to, to set up a role play sometime.
One more thing, guys, when you are doing your posts on Facebook, because we want to make sure that we stay on top of our role plays and we get 90 days straight with like Danny's goal, we want to make sure that you are sharing your scheduling link. Open up your calendar and allow the family to know when you're available. We've got people from all over the world, and time zones are different. And so everybody, we're all just communicating with one another. Role play with someone whose name you've never even seen before this week. And just make sure that we are showing up as our best selves, as our higher selves, and encouraging one another. Danny, do you have any final words for our family today?
I do, yeah. Remember, guys, a smooth sea never made a skillful sailor. There's going to be times when things are going to go wrong, when you're going to feel uncomfortable, we're going to feel like defeated, like this. Maybe you're just not cut out for this. You've just keep showing up. I can promise you. I can promise you from experience. I'm from season 2, right? I've seen a lot of people come and go, and there's been times where I've even questioned myself if if this is for me, right? But like I said, the intention that I set at the start, before I even invested in this, was that I'm going to just listen to this mentor, do whatever it takes, and just keep showing up. So don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes. Just keep keep lacing up those gloves and get back into it.
That was beautiful, guys. A smooth sea. Get in the dojo, bleed in the dojo so that you can boom in the real world. Guys, thank you for showing up. Danny, thank you for being here and sharing with us. And remember, guys, you are closer than you think.